Everyone, this is Jeff. Welcome to Outer Worlds Comics. Glad you can join me. I have an exciting video today. So first off, I want to say hit like and subscribe. I love to get up to 700. That is the direction I'm moving. So like and subscribe. If you're watching on your phone or TV, like get on your phone real quick and just hit like and subscribe. That's easy. I do it. So anyway, last weekend on Saturday, I had, ultimately is what I did is I had a Facebook Marketplace listing that I had been in communication with that I was going to go pick up way up in Greeley, Colorado, which is almost an hour away from me. So it's what I did is I just went ahead and tracked kind of a path to get there of yard sales that mentioned comic books and just kind of was going to see what happens from going from there. So, boy, it ended up being just such an exciting day, and I'm going to show you some videos as I go along here. So hang in there, and I'll get you some good B-roll. So I'm looking at all my comics right here, and they're distracting me because I had so much fun picking out stuff. So, okay, so what I did is I started out at 7:30 in the morning, and I hit a yard sale in Longmont, Colorado, 20 minutes north of me, and I'll show you some video here of kind of what I went through. And then when we come back, we'll go ahead and show what we got. So here we go. All right, so there you go. You see, first off, it was just fun to go. As I've mentioned many times, it's hard to find comic books at yard sales around Colorado. So it was nice just to be able to flip through a couple of boxes of books. Of course, if you were looking through that video, nothing major was found. Nothing even minor was really found. But I did grab some books. They were all $1. So I'll just show off kind of what I brought back from there. I did grab a George Perez Wonder Woman run. This is number 13. I am working on this run, so I grabbed that. I got this J. Scott Campbell Gen 13 cover. So I do have some Gen 13s, J. Scott Campbell stuff. I just throw to the side. I got this because I recently read somewhere that this was a pretty good run. So it's Kamiko Elementals. So I've got, I think it's like, this is number 2, 10, 12, 13, 14, and 19. So I just picked up a little run of Elementals. You never know. I guess maybe we'll put like 1 through 20. Or, I don't know. You guys tell me. Have you read Elementals, and is it good? I feel like I recently had read that. It's pretty good. So maybe had like a bit of a cult following or something. So I gave it a shot. I picked these up. These epic 1 through this. It's a 6 issue. Oh, I got the whole thing. No, I didn't. I got 1 through 5. So I've actually seen that these have a little resale value on eBay. At least I did see that this one sold for something. So, and I find myself picking up more of these epic 6-issue run things, because I've been kind of, I was reading about the history of kind of when they were doing the epic stuff. And there was a lot of good artists and writers kind of in the mix on some of this stuff. So I think it's more, ultimately I'll flip them, but it is an educational thing for me. So I grabbed them. I did grab a, I'll just throw that aside because I had a copy of that. And I couldn't resist, last but not least, a run of West Coast Avengers. These were actually in pretty nice shape, so I figured I would just check them to my current copies and see if they're an upgrade. And if not, I have a stack of extra West Coast Avengers that I'll throw in a dollar box. And so not necessarily making a profit on them, but it's just stock to throw in a dollar box when I will do a sale. So, okay. Oh, you know what I did? I'll show you off something really cool. Hopefully it's not comics, but they had a bunch of, at this yard sale, they had a bunch of laser discs. So there is some resale values to specific laser discs, but I'm actually thinking about, I won't go into detail here, but of setting up my own flea market booth at a local indoor flea market, Lafayette Flea Market, that I've shown here before. So I'm kind of thinking of getting stock for that. So that was also part of this, but this was cool. The Thing from Another World. I thought that was awesome. We got a Superman 3. You know, it's in really nice condition. Still in the casing. We have Starman, which I loved this movie as a kid. Loved this movie. If you've not seen Starman, I think most of my viewers I've seen are all around my age. So I assume most people have seen it. But anyway, great movie. So I got Starman. I got Xanadu. Pretty cool. I've got the Andromeda Strain. I went with like all the sci-fi kind of fun space movies, fantasy stuff. Flight of the Navigator, which was another awesome movie when I was a kid. Loved this. Explorers, if you've seen Explorers, that's another good one. Got First Blood, which was probably the first like movie that I saw as a kid that like had gore in it, because he like stitches himself up, and that I remember watching that as a kid, and I was like, that is unbelievable. So yeah, First Blood, Stallone, classic movie when I was from my childhood. And then got Planet of the Apes, pretty cool. And then last but not least, how about Mad Max? So those are all pretty cool. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep them to the side. They were all $2 a piece, so why not? You know. All right, so the next place that I moved to, drove up to Loveland, Colorado, which is north of Longmont, and that was an indoor flea market. Actually, I was driving to go to a yard sale. Happened to be driving by a church. The church had like, you know, like sometimes churches in their basements or whatever will do like a little thrift day. Ran down there, no comics, asked about indoor flea markets. They pointed me in the direction of one downtown, Loveland. So it was a nice little indoor flea market. I'll pop in some video here. You guys can see kind of what I was seeing. There wasn't a ton of comics, but there was some comics. So let's take a look at what I picked up, or what I had, you know, was seeing there, and then I'll show you what I brought home with me. All right, so there you go. So nothing crazy in that, and I had never been in that place. But you did find some comics. I found some records as well. I'm not showing off my records on these vids, although I should, because I got a couple of cool records on this day. But the first one, you'll see where I was kind of picking through that little like wire rack thing, and there wasn't anything big in there. But there was a sale, so I think I got these for $1 a piece. So I got an Eternals #1 variant, and it, of course I haven't looked it up on eBay, but I was just looking it up on the CLZ app, and it shows there's a little value on this, but I imagine there's probably not. This was cool. It was He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse #1. Kind of neat. We got a Power Rangers Unlimited #1. It's Justice League Dark The Witching Hour #1. Pretty cool. I'm a big Witching Hour guy, and I like Justice League Dark. That's a Tinian story there. And then we got Fallen Angels #1. So nothing big, right? But it was some cool #1s, some unique stuff, and happy to add those to kind of like my #1 collection. And then on the last part of that video, you'll see there was like a bunch of boxes of comics, and there was nothing special in there. You saw like it's just your average. I see those type of boxes at indoor flea markets all the time. I almost gave up, and actually you didn't even see it in the video because I had really in my mind, I was like, I'm done. There's nothing in here. So I didn't even take video. But then I went in the last box. I happened to find a few books. I did get this Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight #14. It's a newsstand, so I do kind of collect this run. I don't actively try to grab, but when I run across it like I did there, it was $1. I got a ROM #25. I do kind of the same thing with ROM, like I'll grab them if I can get them for a deal. This is in really nice condition. I think I got this for $2. Yeah, so that's cool. It's a key. And then this was the cool one. This was the first time of this 2 spots that I was hitting here where I got, oh, cool. I actually found something cool. And it's Superman 712. And I got this for $3. That's pretty nice. So, I didn't check eBay to see actually kind of where this book is at right now. But, I think during the Superman movie craze and crypto, this went up in value a bit. So I don't know where it's landed, but I think it's a great book to have. It's in really nice. I mean, it's as minty as it looks, really minty. So I was happy to grab this. I loved the movie, loved crypto in it. I had been seeing it at my local comic book store. Of course, they were showcasing the book a bit for sale. So anyway, happy to add that to my collection. I was really happy to find that in those boxes because, I went through every one of them and was finding nothing, almost gave up. And my persistence paid off because I picked up this cool book. All right, so then the next place, now I was trying to go to this yard sale. I happened to just Google real quick, is there any other, antique shops around? And there was a bookstore, and I happened to look at a photo, and it showed some comics. So it was called Wampus Books, or Wampus Bookstores. I'm going to put maybe like a link to it in my YouTube channel description thing. This was such a cool bookstore. The owner was amazing. Dream bookstore. Actually, it was so cool. I don't really collect books, but it kind of stirred something in me about even getting into book collecting, which was a theme of the day that you'll see. But how about I just show some video here of the bookstore, and then, he had an upstairs with this, basically you'll see like this rack of comics. None of them were bagged and boarded. Every comic was $5. And boy, there was a lot of really neat modern stuff like Spider-Man. You'll see Wolverine, Fantastic Four, Hickman, Fantastic Four, Thor. I mean, all the big names and some runs that were very, I knew some of the runs and stuff. I just don't know the keys of modern stuff unless it's like just a known key. I don't know some of that other stuff. And maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe like the $10 keys don't matter really, but I do like picking them up when I know them. So that was a struggle for me a little bit because there was so much of it that I was like, ooh, am I passing up stuff? I was trying to look up as much as I could in my app, but there were so many books. I was kind of on a tight time frame to ultimately get up to pick up that Facebook Marketplace deal. So You'll see in the video. You tell me, do you see any keys that I skipped over? Of course, I'm going to show you what I brought home, and then maybe after that you could tell me. But anyway, let me know what you think. Such a cool bookstore. God, this place was awesome. So check it out. All right. So what'd you think of that? How cool was that place? Oh my God. I ended up talking to the owner of the shop for like 30 minutes once I was done kind of doing all my shopping and looking. I just everything about that store was cool. If I could be a retired guy and have a store like that, that's what I would do. He was like, I put in my soul sucking time in my career, and then I settled down and did this. So he knows everything about books. He travels the world to find books. Really, really cool guy. So let me show you what I picked up. I brought home this War Stories Combat. I don't know the number of this actually. I did know it, but anyway, it's not horrible condition. It's got some little writing right there, but I do collect war stuff, military stuff. Again, every one of these books was $5. I had these foil Death of Wolverine covers. I got 2, 3, and 4. I didn't have number 1 in there. I didn't see number 1. So those were cool. I collect kind of all things Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I don't hype him as like one of my favorite characters, but I do love the character, and I do collect a lot of his stories. So I thought that was pretty cool. I picked this up just because I just thought the cover was great. I think it is a minor key. It's nothing crazy about this book, but it's a really neat cover. So Amazing Spider-Man 655, just like that. So I do collect Spider-Man, and I have a hodgepodge of modern Spider-Man strictly based on if I think the cover's cool, or maybe it's a key or something. Also, don't collect a ton of Venom, but I do look same thing. Cool Venom covers, maybe some keys and stuff. But this was awesome. Venom number 2. I thought that was cool, like an homage cover. Yeah, I think it is a key as well. Not a tremendous amount of value with the book, but it's a very cool book. I would think you would agree. I don't know. You tell me. I got these 2. So it's Mighty Thor number 1 and number 4. I do collect, same thing with Thor. Not a huge collection of Thor, but I have some cool stuff. And this was neat because I liked that it had Silver Surfer on it. I don't know what's going on in the story. It's Matt Fraction's story. I don't know about like the history of this run or like what people think about it. I know Matt Fraction's pretty popular. I've read some of his stuff. I like him. But I know that one of these books did have a little value. Although again, you probably go on eBay and buy both of these for like $3. So who knows between like the CLZ app and reality. But I thought it was cool, right? A little Silver Surfer and Thor. So happy to grab those. I got another Matt Fraction comic. This is Fantastic Four number 1. So that's pretty cool. This was a nice find right here. I think I have a copy, but I just grabbed another one. It's Avengers number 35, which I believe this is the first cover appearance of whatever that infamous Iron Man or whatever that version of Iron Man. I should know that. And I think maybe I could be getting this wrong. I should have like had my notes on the back. And then like that's the Sam Wilson Captain America. That's a key on this book too. So it's a nice key. It's got a couple of things going on with it. I know I have another copy. I got this one, Superior Iron Man. Maybe was that the guy? Because here's Superior Iron Man number 1. Thought that was a nice find. This book and the next book I'm about to show, I did not notice until I got home, but there's a bunch of chipping on the bottom. And that is because if you saw the way you had the books stored on those racks, no bags and boards, they kind of got dinged up. I didn't see it when I was pulling the books out. So that was a real bummer. So probably kills the value of this book by a little bit there, by a good bit. But either way, I'll throw it in the box, Superior Iron Man number 1. And then again, same thing with this book, even worse on this, Captain America number 1. And you got some nasty chipping down there. I mean, that's almost pretty much a tear. So that was a bummer because I didn't notice that. And I know that's a nice little key. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's not an expensive book, but it was nice to get. And this was the real awesome find. I didn't have this. So it's Captain America 25. So it's the new Sam Wilson as Cap. And yeah, I didn't have this in my collection. This one, thankfully, pretty nice condition. I mean, I'd say it's like a 9.4, maybe a 9.6. So again, I know this book has dropped in value a lot too, but very happy to have this key in my collection. Got it for $5. Was very happy with that, and yeah, so that was one that I've kind of I'd love to have in the collection, but just never wanted to pay whatever, $25, $30 for it. This was probably my favorite next to that book. This is Mad Magazine number 31, and you know, it's very good to very good plus condition. I think this is like the 4th issue after it became a magazine. In good to very good condition, this sells for $60 something, you know, $60 range on eBay. So that was a really nice find to get that for $5. I collect Mad magazines, so this is now my earliest issue of Mad Magazine. So yeah, I was really excited to find that. It was the only Mad magazine. He didn't have a ton of magazines, so I was thrilled to get that Mad Magazine number 31. Okay, so then I started I drove up to Greeley. At that point, I communicated with the Facebook Marketplace person. Drove up to Greeley and I bought a long box of comics. And I'm going to make another video for that one. So I'm not going to dive into the contents of that box and kind of the background and then ultimately kind of what was the result of that. I'm not going to get into that. So just know that I went up to Greeley, did that, and then just pulled up Google, is there any antique stores or whatever. Drove into town, was going to go to one. No notice that it would have comic books, but then I saw that there was a bookstore kind of right where I parked. I walk in the bookstore, seeing that I was just at a bookstore and had success with comic books, went in there. He had some comics, not very many. It was all junk. It didn't matter. Nice little bookstore though, in Greeley, Colorado. I was nothing against Greeley, but I always kind of think of Greeley as it's definitely more of an ag centric town, cowboys and stuff like that. Not that cowboys don't read books. I'm just saying I just didn't know that there would be this really unique and cool bookstore up there, which happened to be right next door to a really awesome record store. So that ended up being a great combo deal. So as I was leaving the bookstore, the guy was like, "Do you find everything you need?" And I said, "I was just really just kind of popping in. I'm kind of on a comic book hunt day and just wanted to see if there would be anything." And he goes, "Yeah, you saw what I had, not a lot." He goes, "But I do have a private room downstairs where we keep our kind of best books and we do club meetings and things like that and some educational stuff. I do have a stack of comics down there. If you want to come back in 20 minutes, come back and check it out. That'd be great." I went next door to the record store and did a little shopping and then came back. So I'll give you a little video here of the inside of the bookstore. I didn't get video of the encounter dealing with the comics. Just felt a little awkward about that. Didn't want to kind of put the whole YouTube thing on blast there. But I did do a little walk around and I can show you there. All right, so there you go. It was a nice little bookstore. I go back in there, meet with him. He takes me down. He pulls out a stack of comics. I start going through them like, oh, wow, there's, in my head, I'm like, okay, there's some pretty cool stuff here. I did not expect this. It was a short stack, and is ultimately is what it was a bunch of Silver Age Fantastic Four, some Millie the Model, some Simpsons comics, and just a couple other odds and ends, and some more like 80s, 90s Fantastic Four. So I pulled out what I wanted and just said, all right, before we get too far here, where are you going to be coming at me on the pricing? Because I don't want to get too far down the road if we're going to be way off. I'm really, I'm doing yard sales today and I'm really kind of doing the hunting, trying to find the right deals. And I'm not really out trying to spend money on comics, if you know what I mean. He goes, yeah, I totally get it. He goes, I'll give you a fair deal. I am going to look them up, just to get a general idea, and I will work with you because I'm a bookstore. I'm not a comic book guy. I like to move these. So this is, I'll show you what I got and then we'll show you about pricing. So we got, I'll just grab this whole thing for the sake of brevity here. All right, that's way more than I remember. I got this entire stack of Millie the models. So we got 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, and 171. And I would go as far as calling these all in high grade Millie the models, which I haven't run across. I don't run across a lot of Millie the model, and when I do, there's usually some kind of tear or something in them. But I've got a whole nice stack of high grade Millie the models out of that deal, which was awesome. I picked up a Adventure Comics 353 out of the deal. Happy with that. I got a Young Love number 71, DC 12-cent comic. Throw that in my romance pile. Happy to find that. I got, it's a lower grade for sure. Avengers number 70. So it's first appearance of the Squadron Sinister. Definitely it's got some issues. It's still actually attached, but boy, it's definitely got some love along the spine. The rest of it's not terrible, actually. It's just the spine that's in up here a little bit. But I was happy to grab that. Don't mind that at all. And then this is what I was really excited about. So I got Fantastic Four 81. That is a solid mid-grade. I'm 6.5 at least. We got Fantastic Four 82, which is, although, that's probably like a 4.5. I can never find that book in decent condition. I'm sure I could if I actually went out and made effort, but I've had like 4 copies of that book, and it's always lower grade. We got Fantastic Four 83 in really, really nice condition. It's got a little tanning. Otherwise, it's not bad at all. Very nice condition for me. I'm very happy with that. And then this is awesome. Fantastic Four 84, again in very nice shape. I'd say, to me, I'd put a 7.0 on this, maybe a 7.5. That's pretty nice. Love it. A little Doom, hot stuff right now. And then we got Fantastic Four 85. A little tanning going on here. Also, but nice mid-grade. I don't know what tanning does to the grading on Silver Age books. Someone maybe, if you want to make a note, trying to get people to engage with me. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far to understand what tanning does to a grade. And the last but not least, we got Fantastic Four number 86. This is a mid-grade, 6.5. Nice Doom cover. So I got all of that, all of those Fantastic Fours, Millie the models, the Avengers, the Adventure Comics, and the Young Love. He said, I totaled it up. It's about 220. And he goes, I'm being conservative with the grading and thus the pricing. And so he goes, I'm seeing about 220. Would you do 185? And I said, yeah, man, like I said, I'm not really here to try to spend that kind of money. I was like, the best I think I could do, like really, truly, is 150. I'm not spending more and I'm fine with walking away. That's just the best I can do. I don't want to spend more than that. And he said, well, would you take all of the comics for 185? And I said, I don't really need any of that other stuff. So he goes, 150 is the deal. So I got all of those for 150. And I was very happy with that because I am working on my Fantastic Four run. I had almost all of these, I will say, except for one of them. But they're all significant upgrades on what I had in my collection. So now I'll take those lower grade. The ones I have aren't that bad, but they're lower grade. And I will put those in a bundle and sell those maybe on eBay or maybe individually on a couple of the Doom ones. And certainly, I think, put a dent in my investment in this, and then I'll probably sell all those Millie the models as a lot. And I think between what I'll sell out of Fantastic Four Millie the models, I'll come very close to getting back with my 150. I probably won't get all the way there, but it'll be pretty close. So I'll feel very, very good about that deal. And that was really fun. It was a very unexpected place to run in comics. Matter of fact, back to back, those 2 bookstores. I have not bought comics from bookstores before. Those were 2 on a whim stop-ins, and they proved pretty fruitful. So yeah, I think that was it. And then I kind of turned around and I bolted. So there you go. It was an awesome day. I did a yard sale. I did an indoor flea market, tried at a church. I did two bookstores, stopped at a little record store, bought some records, and also did a Facebook Marketplace pickup, which I'll show in a later video. So I did all the things. It was a full day, and I was really tired when I get done. But again, I didn't get anything major, but that's a fun day, guys, when you're just kind of out on the road. I was an hour away from my house at the furthest point, listening to some. You know what I do is I watch other people's YouTube. I don't watch them. I listen, the little things at the bottom, but I'll listen on my car of other people's channels. And so that was fun. And I don't know. I just had a blast. It was just one of those days that, man, it just felt like that's probably my favorite thing to do alongside golf is just to go hunting like that. And I actually brought back some pretty cool books. Very happy with my haul. So that's it. Again, like and subscribe. I would love the opportunity to grow my channel and hit 1,000 viewers. It's going to take me a little bit more time, but if I'm sniffing it by the end of the year, that would be really cool. And otherwise, I appreciate everybody watching. Hope everybody's doing good out there and enjoying your weekend. And by the time that you watch this, maybe the weekend's over. Sorry. All right. Be good. Peace.